Hello, and welcome to Fusion Writing, where building character meets creating structure. This is our Zettelkasten week, and oh, do we have a lot of fun for you. Victoria, what do you have for our wonderful people?
Okay, so you may recall we've been talking about the concept of the chronotope, meaning how you use time and space in your stories. So, in terms of Zettelkasting, it's actually quite simple. The first thing that I want you to think about is where do you want to store things about time and space in your notebox? For some of you, you might create a section called chronotope, and maybe you do the time element first and then you do the space element second. That's certainly one way to divide it up. Another way is by things that you're including. Now, this is where our Fusion Writing group viewers get a little bit of a sneak preview about what's coming in issue 2 of my monthly newsletter. Because when I break it down in the newsletter, I do it on a couple of levels. First, I give you the major and the minor kinds of chronotope. So the major is just an overall story container. Like maybe you're writing a story that is set in autumn during World War II. That's just your major story container. So that would be one section of your chronotope section in your notebox. So maybe you go to your index under C and your keyword is chronotope and you list the address. And then the first section is the major elements. So that's, like I said, it's just your major story container. Now, perhaps you don't have a major point in time like World War II. Maybe it's the present day and it takes place during the first week of April. That's okay. That's still part of your chronotopic information. So maybe you're just going to put in the first week of that month, and that becomes the thing that you refer to. Maybe you're looking at the weather patterns. Maybe you're looking at what's happening because that's a spring month. Entirely up to you as the writer. But again, you're just capturing that one element that contains your story. So that's the major aspect of the chronotope. For the minor aspect, that's what you might consider more local items. In my newsletter, I break it down into 3 things. The first one is a chronotope object. It could be a wedding ring. It could be a fancy necklace. Titanic, anyone? It could be some specific thing like a journal from which discoveries and clues come. So whatever that object is that you're anchoring your story to, object is one section. And you can brainstorm a jillion of those, which I'm going to give you a whole bunch of prompts in my newsletter, so no spoilers there. The second one is a place. So instead of hinging your story on a particular object, like say that journal, you're using a place. Let's say maybe a crossroads. And let's say you add time and place, a crossroads at midnight, right? So you're just giving yourself some places that you can tie to a time that prompt that story idea or give you something to anchor that story to. So place is the second one. The third one I'm going to give you is an event. The cool thing about the chronotope of an event is it signals all kinds of things to your reader without ever having to come right out and say it. Let's say, for example, your story hinges on the opening is a wedding, the middle of the story is a birth, and the ending of the story is a death. You have a whole life cycle there. You've said a whole lot to your reader by hinging on those 3 events. You've talked about how important family is. You've talked about how important marking time and the passage of time through life events is. And you're probably sharing a little something about culture or the norms of the people in the story. You've said all that just by choosing those 3 main events to hang your story on. So that's what we're looking at this month. We're looking at how do you divide those things up in your notebox so that you can go back and find them later and incorporate them as pieces of your story. So that's where I'm going to leave you. Decide what major things do you want to refer to, major points in time or story containers, and then decide what the minor ones are, objects, places, or events that you can drop into your notebox that maybe you refer to later when you need an element to include as an anchor for your story. That's where I'm going to leave you guys. Kathleen?
Okay. Oh, well, thank you so much, Victoria. So you're taking it from the idea perspective, and I love that very much. I'm going the different direction. I'm taking it more down to the category level. Those of you who have Victoria's book, Zettelkasten for fiction writing, you know that Victoria gives you categories to help you set up your Zettelkasten, and she teaches you how to start with a 4-digit category number that works with her fiction writing. Well, some people of you have been in my Reawaken the Dream of Writing course, which I started. Goodness, now it's been almost 3 years since that course started. And that used also a categorical numbering system. And by the most amazing good luck, because Victoria and I were just getting acquainted when that course was starting, and she hadn't written her book yet at all. But as it turns out, the code numbers that I gave in the Reawaken the Dream of Writing fit beautifully in with Victoria's system. They're all in the applied sciences area, which if you just stretch character traits, call it psychology, psychology is a science, okay, it could be a applied science. It doesn't take too much squeezing to make these numbers the exactly perfect numbers to use. Now, if you are in LiLLiPub, you can already download this list of category numbers. Mine happens to be laminated, and this is a sneak tease for a promotion that we're going to be having during the month of April. April is our anniversary month, and in April, LiLLiPub will be 2 years old. So during the month of April, anyone who is already a member of Fusion Writing or anyone who joins LiLLiPub and signs up for Fusion Writing, which is no extra cost, it's at no charge once you're a LiLLiPub member, will get sent to you at your home address a laminated copy of the codes for the character traits. So hold on tight to get that. If you're already in LiLLiPub, download them on paper and wait for the April to get them. There will be a form that you can fill out where you can tell us where to send them, because it does have to be, we're going to have to stick it in an envelope and send it to you. One of those nice big, won't bended envelopes with a photo, don't bend. And I'm going to share with you what they look like in my Zettelkasten.
This is where Kathleen is just showing off because her boxes are so fantastic.
Here's my character trait collection. And you can start on yours too with all the cards that you can begin creating for the character traits as you begin to study them and as you begin to use them in your writing. So don't delay. You want to start building your collection right away. And besides that, in a place that isn't going to be stored there, but stored in your plot box instead, is the wonderful challenge that Victoria has been giving us all this month. So Victoria, you want to review what's going on in LiLLiPub right now?
So this was the Experience Collection Scramble Challenge. Some of you may remember back in November, we did an Experience Collection Challenge where the challenge was to collect one observation or experience per day on a note card and post it in the cafe in LiLLiPub. Well, we had so much fun with that. Kathleen launched her own challenge in January where the challenge was to collect a character trait each day. And she has a fantastic PDF that just lists out the character traits so that you could choose the ones that you were collecting for that day. So for this month, I thought, why not have a scramble? Why not collect an experience? And then the challenge is to tie that experience to one of the character traits and post that over in the group, which we've had an explosion of posts, which has been so ridiculously cool. It's so fun to see how people are matching these things up and using them as story drivers. So we're continuing on. We're only halfway through this month. So if you're not a member, pop into the Experience Collection Cafe and start posting your note cards because we want to see what everybody's doing and how they're tying their experiences or their observations to the character traits. Because later I will walk you through some ways to take those cards that you've created and use those as things to drive your story elements. So there's always an ulterior motive, which is to get you to do your writing and get those words on the page. But for right now, all you got to do is post one card a day. So that is where we are with our challenge.
Thank you so much, Victoria. So don't forget, come on over to lillipub.org. It's where we hang out when we're not here in YouTube land. And we have so many fun and wonderful things going on in lillipub.org. You won't want to miss out. It's still only $8 a month, so while it's still at that incredible bargain, sign up. And guess what? Even if we raise our dues in the future, if you sign up at the $8 a month level, you're grandfathered in for the whole time. As long as you remain a member, you won't pay any more than $8 a month, even if the dues go up. It's just an unbelievable opportunity. So come on over and we'll see you over in LiLLiPub land. And you won't believe all the fun we're having over there. Come on and join the fun. See you there. Bye-bye.